I pranked a giant company because they kept on harassing me. My contract with a giant media corporation had ended 2 months prior. I had returned their equipment to a storefront in a Cleveland strip mall, gotten my final bill showing a zero balance, and switched to a local fiber provider. I thought that was the end of it, but the calls began about a week later. They came from a third-party retention center, always around dinner time. Each conversation was identical. A cheerful agent would tell me about an incredible new offer to win me back. I would politely explain that I was no longer a customer and that my account was closed. They would thank me for my time, promise to update their records, and hang up. The next day, another agent would call with the same script. I tried everything. I asked for supervisors. I explained the situation slowly and clearly. I pointed out that they were calling me about an account number that no longer existed in their primary system. Nothing worked. The agents were just reading from a screen, and their list, sourced from some outdated database, was their entire reality. I was trapped in a digital ghost story, haunted by a customer profile that refused to die. So, after another pointless call, I changed my approach. If their system insisted I was a customer, I would act like one. I called their technical support line, navigated the automated menu, and reported a complete service failure. My internet was down. My streaming services were offline. Nothing worked. A technician was scheduled for the next afternoon. When a young guy in a branded polo shirt arrived, I met him at the door and told him the whole story before he could even open his toolkit. I explained I didn't actually have their service anymore, but their retention department wouldn't stop calling me. He just blinked for a second, then laughed. He said he had to officially log the visit but would report that the issue was resolved. The next day, the retention team called again. Immediately after, I called tech support and reported the exact same outage. This time I sounded a little more frustrated. The next day, a different technician showed up. I gave him the same explanation. He was less surprised than the first one and seemed to find the situation genuinely amusing. He told me that multiple pointless service calls to the same address would eventually trigger a flag for a regional manager. That was my new goal. I kept it up for over a week. Each day, a retention agent would call me, and a few minutes later, I'd be on the phone with tech support, reporting that my non-existent service was, yet again, completely broken. The technicians who came to my house started to recognize my address on their schedules. One of them told me his boss was getting really confused. The call I was waiting for finally came on a Thursday morning. It wasn't the retention team. A man introduced himself as a district field supervisor from Dayton. He told me my address had an unusual number of service requests, and he needed to understand what was going on. I calmly laid out the entire saga: the canceled account, the endless retention calls, my failed attempts to reason with the agents, and my subsequent campaign of reporting fake outages. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. He asked if I was serious. I told him to check my call logs and the service history for the past 2 weeks. He sighed, the sound of a man defeated by bureaucracy. He said he understood, and that he would personally escalate the issue and get my number removed from every list they had. The calls stopped that same day. It was absurd that breaking their system was the only way to get them to fix it.